how's it going? I drew something a little unhinged, and I want to show you my process behind this artwork. To start, let's jump back to October. I've never made a frame before, but since it will be covered, we just need to make sure it doesn't fall apart. To start, I measured my boards and marked their length, cutting them at 45-degree angles to create a perfect 90-degree frame. But to be honest, the pieces did not end up fitting together perfectly, but it was close. I cut a ribbit, whatever it's called, the groove on the back side. Good news, I cut those perfectly. Bad news, I lost my arm. After some glue on the frame and my arm, I was finished and went to bed. For the brick wall, I decided foam was the best way to create good-looking, lightweight bricks. Foam makes a horrible mess, and if I somehow didn't have microplastics, I definitely do now. I made some slightly smaller bricks and got in a masonry groove. After cutting, I sanded them smooth, cleaned constantly, and broke them into different sizes, and laid them out onto the frame. So here is our brick wall. Now here comes the fun part of shaping and detailing all the bricks. I had the most fun with this part. Foam is quite satisfying to cut and form. As I clean up, let's move on to the artwork for the frame. The drawing was actually started back in July, and I lost those clips and images, but here is the drawing as it is now. I've been experimenting with light tables and have been sketching on paper and then tracing it to the master copy. I don't know if I'll always use this technique, but I found it helps preserve the paper and remove having to erase sketches underlying work. I taped the sketches behind the drawing and traced what I already drew with pins. Basically, this is like onion skin or dropping the opacity with digital art, but physically, so give it a try, it's a good tool. Now, time for alcohol markers. My favorite part about drawing is creating my own coloring pages. I went in knowing I wanted this green and pink light throughout the scene. Most of the colors are just chosen because I thought that would look good. But I do create palettes with my markers, focusing on going from light to darker colors. To finish up the colors, and to save on marker ink, I pulled out some India ink. I watered down some black ink for gray and then moved on to the floor. I started with the light color and then added details with darker colors. I didn't show it, but I made the back a little darker to help with the contrast of the overall drawing. I added some gross texture with paper towels, and lastly added gray to the ceiling. Now let's jump back to the frame and paint some bricks. For the paint, I'm mixing PVA glue and acrylic paint. I added lots of red with a little orange and a little bit more white. And then I spent the next hour painting each brick. After they dried, I added water to the acrylic paint and created different colored bricks. Some had more pinks while others had more black and grays. And after even more time, I have a brick wall. I liked lots of details, and I found a bunch of random bits and bobs, including this butthole surfer's pin. I moved on to gluing the bricks with wood glue. I'm also adding a lighting element to the frame. I'm wrapping blue string lights around this old iPhone charger. Bricks need mortar, so I chose plaster, and that was a big mistake, with several hours wasted. I ended up ripping the bricks off, cutting the wire out of the plaster, and repainting the bricks I messed up. To fix this mess, I have aluminum foil, I have a brand new glue gun, and I got some Sculpey air dry. I first glued down aluminum foil to save on clay. Then I got my clay out, rolled it flat, and cut it into strips. I filled the gaps between the bricks with clay and used tools to squash and smooth the clay. I did all the clay work in like 4 hours, I think, and it worked. The next day it held and it dried perfectly. And that's it. Over a few months, spending a few hours each weekend, it's done. So here it is. This drawing is about mindless consumption of social media. I had a lot of fun experimenting and researching for this project, and I'm glad it's finally done and I can edit these clips. This artwork has a lot going on, but I think it's very fitting. Also, here are some dark clips. The artwork looks really cool in the dark. Well, thanks for watching. This was a big project, and I'm hoping to do more like it, but with faster development and video editing times. So, yeah, have a wonderful day.